Welcome back to the Blister and Muck podcast. I'm Jenny Mason, your host and the creator of the Blister and Muck series. This week, the heroes are fighting. Does anyone have any lipstick? They'll need it to make up. After the wharf rat attack, Muck discovers a clue about the fire that robbed him of his family and ritzy country home. He needs Blister's help on a quest to find answers. Unfortunately, Seltzer won't let them leave the bell tower. He has his own pressing errand, and well, somebody's gotta watch Horchata. Before long, the rats and the pigeon are at loggerheads. If loggerheads is a new word for you, it refers to being in an argument. How many words can you think of to refer to arguments or disagreements? Perhaps you thought of spat, tiff, or squabble. What about palaver, contretemps, imbroglio, logomachy, fracas, Donnybrook? In the 1800s, people would have talked about getting into collie shangles, which implied fighting like dogs. Or perhaps you'd get into a batty fang if someone told you to shut your bone box. No doubt we've all encountered someone who eats vinegar with a fork. That is to say, someone who says stuff so mean, their words feel acidic and sharp. People like that are often challenged to grass before breakfast, or a duel at dawn. Either that or their taunts lead to shaking a flannen, which naturally results in maffacking. I realize all this talk of kick-ups, Branigans, dust-ups, flaps, rows, clashes, disputes, and feuds is far from uplifting. No doubt it's sagging your giggle mug. Even so, I felt it was important to warn you about this quarrel. It pulls no punches. Maybe, if it was a pillow fight, I could cushion the blows. That, by the way, is one of my better puns. At any rate, before we proceed, I need to ask you listeners a serious carry-witchet. That is, a perplexing and puzzling question. If, during the course of their bickering, our heroes pull out some pencils, does that mean they are then having a graphite? Episode 10, The Muffin Cup. Morning came with cloud trails as scraped and cold as skillet lard. The rats climbed off the bell to stretch their stiff muscles and crack their aching joints. Spindle bolted out of his web and shivered on Blister's shoulder. Seltzer led Horchata out of whatever hiding place they had secured during the pillage. Horchata pecked at a candlestick already slashed and gashed. The others milled through the wreckage in stunned silence. More damage could not have been done had the entire herd of Hurley and Pratt elephants danced the foxtrot through the belfry. Muck lifted the tattered remains of a banner. I cannot comprehend what lured them here. This couldn't have helped, Seltzer said. He tweezed in his beak a beleaguered Muffin Cup wrapper. He dropped the fleshy paper between the two rats. Which one of you did it? Which one of you risked all our lives?
Why blame us when it might have been you?
Blister spluttered.
I see you dragging all sorts of flotsam in here to bulk up your nest.
Pigeons do not nest in pastries. Rats, however, are known to harbour a serious sweet tooth. Calm down, Seltzer, old chap. I have never fetched food into this belfry, and Blister knows better than anybody not to do that. He made the no food in the bell tower rule, after all. There must be a more expedient explanation. Seltzer crossed his wings over his chest. Blister planted his fists on his hips and waited for Muck to exonerate him. Spindle scuttled off Blister and took up a new roost on Muck. Muck stroked the spider as he spoke. Perhaps that felonious feast was, stashed in a candle box long ago. Blister might have unwittingly brought it up here when he moved all these boxes out of the crypts. Satisfied with the theory, Muck began a meager effort to tidy the bell tower, gathering various bits of trash. He grabbed the cupcake wrapper and froze. He stared at what appeared to be black burn squiggles on the bottom of the paper. Are you serious? Seltzer rolled his orange eyes. If that food had been here the whole time, those wharf rats would have come after it long ago. No, I'm willing to bet that food got here the same day Blister treated us to the surprise donut. Seltzer's secret agent instincts sparked. He pursued Blister with an aggressive interrogation. You scored big that day, didn't you, Blister?
I don't know what you're talking about. Ow!
The bird pecked at the rat's chest. Blister backed away. You had nowhere else to keep your treasure but here. Isn't that so?
This is ridiculous. Ow!
Seltzer pecked again. That's why you were in such a hurry to send me off. You needed me out of the way so you could haul your riches up here. So you sent me on a wild goose chase to get Muck from Madame Putresca's. Seltzer didn't even wait for Blister to respond. He pecked again, driving the rat to retreat further. And you nearly had enough time. Nearly. One piece remained out in the open, and when you couldn't hide it, you used it to distract us. You pretended it was a gift, didn't you? One final peck backed Blister into a wall. Muck's ears hung lower than his whiskers. Spindle mimicked this, sagging his whole body. Oh, Blister, is it true?
Ticks and maggots,
Blister flailed.
While you two are busy jumping down my throat, I would like to point out one very important aspect from last night that neither of you have considered.
Oh, aye? What's that? Seltzer scowled.
Horchata spoke.
Good gracious, dinna change the subject. You're right. She spoke? Really? Seltzer reeled back to Horchata. What did she say? When?
She said, intruders, just before the wharf rats barged up the stairs,
Blister said. Most miraculous.
Precisely.
Blister fed the rising excitement.
Not that my opinion matters one jot around here, but if you ask me, I'd say the thing to do is to get Putresca's physician over here to examine Horchata again. Find out if Ooze and the other animals with the same condition are showing similar signs of progress.
Aye. Seltzer nodded like a snake bobbing its head to the snake charmer's flute. You're right. If they resume talking, then we'll be able to find out where they were taken to be addled. Blister's backbone twinged. In his haste to wriggle out from under guilt, he'd unwittingly wriggled himself into a new trap. That is, the testimonies from Horchata or the other addled animals might very well lead beyond merely discovering the whereabouts of Dr. Van Sangfroid. They could uncover the doctor's connection to Yana, as well as her connection to Blister. Lab rat, imaginary mocking voices knelled in Blister's mind. He had to cover his tracks fast. I'll go right now. I'll hop a sewer cab and— Wait a moment, my good Seltzer. Muck tapped the bird. If you go, we must stay and watch Horchata.
but I'm abrasively afraid we cannot accommodate that action. I need Blister to take me to the bakery where these pastries came from."
"Good thinking, Muck,"
Blister said.
"Our frayed nerves need a solid breakfast."
"Rigidly refrain your food fascination for 1 second." Muck stomped his foot. He unraveled the muffin wrapper and pointed to the burn squiggles, which were actually printed words. Le petit gâteau de François Fillette. François Fillette. That was the name of the bulky baker back home, Muck said. If he's alive and baking somewhere in this messy metropolis, then that means he survived the fire. That means I'm not the only one. Others might have survived. My family might not be...
"Slow down, Muck."
Blister pressed his paws on Muck's heaving shoulders.
1,000 bakers might have that same name.
Exactly why I must go see for myself. Muck pushed Blister away. You can go as soon as I return, Seltzer insisted. Why don't you expertly escort Horchata to the physician? Seltzer flicked his wings. I cannot have other pigeons see her like this. Take a sewer cab. I barely fit on the pedal boat. We couldn't travel together. Who would stop her from hopping out and drowning? Please, just wait here while I get the physician. This is so important. Now see here, my feathered friend. Muck held firm. Discovering my family might not have perished in a pernicious pyre is just as important. What am I saying? It's more important. We can't wait.
"He's right,"
Blister said.
"Bakers are like vampires. They work all night and disappear by dawn. We might have already missed him."
No, don't say that.
"Unless he lives at the bakery,"
Blister mused.
"But that's old-fashioned. No one does that anymore. Then again, he might have a whole staff of apprentice bakers who do all the hard work. Or today could be his day off. Maybe Seltzer's right. We can wait."
No, we will not wait. Muck slammed his fist into the palm of his paw. Spindle was so startled he leapt back onto Blister. We'll stop by Putresca's on our way back from the bakery. Oh, sure, Seltzer mocked. Just like the day you were going to come right back from the park and then wound up at the circus. What if Madame Putresca send you off on an errand to rescue all the caged canaries in town? Horchata and I will be stuck waiting for who knows how long. I am sorry, dear Muck, but you must wait here while I go. Absolutely not. You will wait while we go. Fat chance. The rat and the pigeon locked their wills in a tug of war. Blister made no attempts to intervene. He wanted to keep Horchata silent as long as possible. He also sensed a deep but inexplicable desire to keep Muck away from the bakery. He did not deny that it would be wonderful to discover all the Furbanks survived the fire. Then Muck would be free from the guilt and grief. What fun they could have if Muck no longer wore the heavy cloak of shame. But Blister sensed another kind of door might open if they confirmed Muck's family lived. For the moment, he dared not even peek through the keyhole of that door to see the outcome waiting on the other side. Spindle, who never approved of squabbles, ran to his tin can. Once he got it rolling, he barreled, clinkety-clinkety-clink, right at Muck and Seltzer. The argument ceased as they dodged the can, zooming around their toes. Spindle exited the can and waved his front legs wildly.
"What is it, Spin? What do you want?"
Muck gasped. I just had the most radical revelation. We can send Spindle to Madame Putresca. He can be our arachnid ambassador. Muck bellied down to the floor to address the spider. "Would you like that, Spindle? Would you?" Spindle crawled on Muck's nose and jumped a series of enthusiastic backflips. "Great idea!"
Bad idea,
Blister said.
It's way too dangerous for one little spider to go across the city all by himself. Anything, and I mean anything, could squash him or eat him. No way, no how. Out of the question.
Spindle returned to his can and crashed repeatedly against Blister's legs. Clink, clink, clink.
Ouch! Cut it out, Spindle. This is for your own good.
The tin can shot to the stairs and took a Niagara Falls dive. Plink, plink, clinkety clink. Muck waddled after the can, calling back to Blister. "Write up a note for Madame Putresca. That spunky spider is going, whether you like it or not." Blister did not have a ready supply of quills or paper like Putresca did, but Seltzer pointed out the paint Muck had used to decorate the banners. The wharf rats had slopped most of it around in their destruction of the bell tower, but a sizable puddle on the floor had not yet dried up. As Muck carted the can and a very dizzy spider upstairs, Blister dipped his finger in the paint and scrawled a curt note on a scrap of fabric. Seltzer pecked some holes into the tin can. Last, Spindle spun a thick web around the open mouth of the can to seal himself and the note securely inside. Seltzer patted the can. "Thank you, Spindle. You are selfless and noble and brave, and everything we secret agents strive to be." The can replied with a soft tink tink. Seltzer then separated Horchata from the bullied wax stick and declared, "Off with you, all of you. The sooner you go, the sooner we'll have answers."
Oh, that Spindle. His bravery and his integrity are so impressive. He challenges all those negative spider stereotypes. Thanks to Spindle, spiders everywhere can grow in our estimation by at least 8 feet. I wish I could tell you what happens next. Did someone besides Muck survive the devastating fire? Will Horchata be able to reveal the whereabouts of Dr. Van Sangfroid's sinister laboratory? Unfortunately, we've run out of time, so we'll have to weave it there for now. Stick around, because next week is Christmas Eve, and the week after that is New Year's Eve, which means we'll have 2 back-to-back bonus episodes to enjoy. Which celebrities will the Blister and Muck crew get to meet this time? Until then, you can hang out at blisterandmuck.com and use the contact form to tell me what you think will happen next. Got any good spider jokes? Here's one. Why should you never feed corn to your pet spider? Because it'll start making cobwebs. Did you know that listening to stories read and told aloud is a great way to bolster your brain's overall health? In studies of children and young people who are regularly read to, researchers find greater levels of critical thinking and more powerful imaginations. Sadly, even when there isn't a pandemic disrupting the world, millions of children do not have someone around who can regularly read to them. This show aims to fill that gap, and when you make a donation to support this show, you give to young people everywhere the most magical gift they may ever receive. Visit blisterandmuck.com and tap Support the Show. Use the secure PayPal button to make a contribution in any amount. You can also visit the Blister and Muck gift store and browse the selection of t-shirts, hats, face masks, tote bags, and more. Not only does Blister and Muck gear make for an excellent holiday gift, but also a portion of every purchase helps keep this show coming back week after week. And when your order arrives, you'll discover a special surprise from me and the crew. And if your family, like millions of others, has had a rough year and is not in a position to give financially, that's okay. You can definitely support the show by helping new listeners discover it. Encourage your friends, real or imaginary, to listen along every week. Special thanks to composer Roland Rudzitis for serving up the Blister and Muck theme song. Additional music from Kevin MacLeod and Loyalty Freak Music. Sound Ideas Calm at Pond 5 provided the horse and carriage. Barkanov rang the bell. Alex Buck made the pecs. Dave Orr brought the drips. My most magical gift has always been my family, friends, and fans. One for one, and all for you.